that we had to come to grips with was, how do we break down these walls? How do we break down the silos?
Even though we're part of one company, we really did not communicate directly with them, didn't know them well. In fact, in some cases, didn't know them at all.
The meetings initially were a little more cold. Everyone was still trying to get a feel for who they can trust.
And so that was a major struggle, and it took us probably 6 months, starting with just working together to understand how are we going to define the markets. Ricoh looked at them one way, Savin looked at them another way.
I remember at the very beginning we were fumbling around with all these pieces of paper, and we'd have mounds of paperwork that we were wading through in all these different meetings.
Data collection was a massive task. We have different computer systems. We collect information differently.
We felt that we had one of the best systems going, and now we had to work with someone else to come up with just one system.
We have historically calculated quotas, market shares, all of those kinds of things were done differently.
And then finally one weekend I realized that the database could do something different. I went in and started just playing with it, and over one weekend I figured how to create these forms.
And by doing the basics first, we were able then to present our region directors with a usable tool.
Very key to it was the administrative help provided by Wayne Hanselman and Connie Bayshore that took all of this data, all this information, put it in a coherent program, allow us to access it as needed.
It was amazing to see that people you thought did well didn't, and vice versa. And it was really an awakening for a lot of us.
It was eye-opening and see how the dollars were spent, how certain programs were working or not working, whether certain dealers were taking advantage of certain programs, commingling of different marketing programs. So it pretty much pointed to even the profitability of the dealer.
It gave us that common framework to be able to look at markets, look at dealers, look at our regions in a common way.
And then from there, we began to take action together to put together strategies to market by market establish the best method of distribution for each of the brands in each marketplace.
The first couple of markets that we worked through, I thought it was going to take us forever to get done.
Market number one took us an hour, 2 hours to get through. It was just painful. And we had 285 of these things to go through. So you can imagine what people were thinking.
Everybody was a little bit concerned about whether they were giving things up to the detriment of the people that we represent.
John Stewart took the most significant action, I'll say, in that one of his markets, Los Angeles, he actually non-renewed or canceled 25 Ricoh dealers. So that was a very big part of really getting the ball rolling, and quite frankly, I think when everyone saw what John was willing to do for the good of this process, I think that helped make everyone feel a little more committed to doing what needed to be done for the group.
It took quite a bit of time to work through probably the top 15 or 20 markets. Once we got through that process, I think the other 200 or so markets that we reviewed, we went through very quickly.
So today we're down to very near to the ideal strategy, which is one point of distribution per brand per market.
We've taken the top 285 markets and we have a clear-cut strategy for every brand and every market. And I think that in and of itself is a tremendous accomplishment.
The good news is we've non-renewed or canceled the dealers that were not performing,
which has made our dealers extremely pleased. They probably feel we have more work to do in that regard. They also believe that we have leveled the playing field in terms of pricing and program support.
By doing that, we've gained credibility in the dealer network that Ricoh, Savin, and Gestetner are establishing a strategy that makes sense, that's consistent, and it's something that's supported by everyone in the Ricoh family group.
I mean, the entire team, everybody contributed. Everybody had a perspective and everybody added value by bringing their perspective to the front.
It's been a pleasure to be on the team. I've enjoyed it, learned a lot from my counterparts, actually having fun with each other as well as getting the job done.
Now the idea is really free flow as we go through the meetings. And we laugh at each other.
We understand from one brand to another what each one's strategy is, and everyone continues to live up to what their strategy is and continues to be committed to the process. So I feel very good about the team.